Excellent. Right, so I don't know whether everyone here has attended one of these webinars before or whether you're new, but you're very welcome all the same. But just a few kind of housekeeping rules. I think you've got the gist of the chat. So any questions, if you pop them on the chat to everyone, then everyone can see the comments and questions coming in. And Jackie and I will look to answer them at different points during the session. There is quite a lot to take in this morning, so bear with us, but also we've produced some videos which you can have a look through afterwards, and we will share them with you via an email, but they're accessible via your partner area. And also we are developing an e-learning course, which actually, if you'd like to share that with your colleagues, should you see it to be appropriate, then please do, and that will be ready. We're just putting the final touches to it, but it should be ready at the early point of next week. And again, we'll email that out to make sure that you've got access to it and that you can take on that course. So this morning, it's myself, Sally, and my colleague Jackie presenting to you. And we are going to be talking all about our brand new events module. So, so it's a completely new functionality that's available within all of your tribute pages. Now, there's huge potential in memory events, and I've just put a small kind of headline figure down here just to kind of grab your attention, really. But in November last year, we saw an increase of up 263% in the amount raised if a tribute had an event on it. And the amount raised per tribute without an event was £93, whereas with an event, it was considerably more at £337.27. So you can see those figures demonstrate the potential of events within tribute pages. So we've created this lovely new bit of functionality to the benefit of yourselves and your fund holders. Now, true to much loved style, our events module within our tributes is completely supporter-centric. So I'm sure you wouldn't want us to develop it in any other way. So our focus isn't simply on the bottom line. It isn't just about raising money, but it's about focusing on supporting bereaved people through their journey. So what's the big news? Well, true to form, we have created a no ask event option. So if people wanted to add on a vigil or some kind of community or commemorative event, then they can do, and they can load that onto their tribute page, and there'll be no donate button against it. So they can still add updates and people can still comment on it, but there's no fundraising facility on that type of event. The platform is really flexible. So we already had the facility to link to Just Giving pages, but now we've added the functionality to be able to link to Facebook, nearly said fundraising, Facebook fundraising pages as well. So that will record all of the donations on the tribute page, but obviously the donations will physically be collected by those other platforms and just recorded as offline donations in your partner area. So there's no chance of you sort of double accounting for them. This is a really great bit of functionality. We've developed the facility for you to be able to preload events for them to display on your tribute pages. So this bit of functionality is available to our Optimum partners and will allow you to list any kind of mass participation events that maybe your organisation is offering. So maybe things like a Santa Dash, a memorial walk, a cake sale, that kind of thing. And Jackie will talk you through, or actually I'm going to talk you through how to actually add those in, but Jackie will show you how they are listed and how they display within your tribute pages. So just to clarify, they'll just display within your tribute pages, not pages that are supporting you that are being created by a funeral director partner or a third party. They have to be set up within your own service. So this, having a kind of new, flexible, open platform will create a wider tribute fund facility for family and friends. So you've got that one person that's being remembered, you've got the person who's originally created the tribute, but then you've got lots of people supporting that tribute in their own way. And the ability to be able to link to Just Giving, Facebook fundraising, maybe add one of your preloaded events or create their own event, will just create that kind of wider facility to be able to kind of bring people together. There's also superb functionality on the new events module. There's a great selection of event categories, and I've got a couple of the images here just to give you a little bit of a flavour. So each event category has got its own big event image attached to it, which supporters can take off if they want to and preload with their own event, or they can use our suggested image. So you've got a kind of wedding event, you've got a heroes image, a little, maybe a garden open day, or maybe something a little bit more traditional like a sponsored swim. There's also tabletop sales, cake sales, running, all kinds of things. I think there's about sort of 16 different event categories listed. And there's also the option for live streaming options. And of course, people can add in their own categories if they want to. So I'll just have a quick look at the chat. So I'm just going to hand over to Jackie.
Share my screen.
Yeah, so we've had a question in regards to open platforms. Will there be the functionality to add other platforms other than, yeah, I can't for definite answer that, Simon. I need to have a look at fundraising platform. There might be the opportunity for you just put the URL address in and link to it. But we haven't developed to that particular platform. But if they're interested to, we would certainly be happy to look at it. Dawn from the MND Association has said they've had had a niece of a supporter use the event on her uncle's page to raise money. So that's a really lovely example. And Jackie's got some really nice examples of that kind of extended use as well.
I'll share my screen now. So just going on to that, coincidentally, this is an MNDA tribute. So I just thought I'd show you how events do display on tributes now. So this, thank you, Dawn, is an MNDA tribute. And this is set up by the daughter of John. And you can see here, she set up a lovely tribute, and then she's added the event, the Brighton Marathon. And you can see we've got a lovely little cover image here. If I click through, you can see now it's much more visual. It displays so lovely. You can have another image as well, which she's done. And then she's a story of why she's doing it in memory of her dad, and why MNDA, the charity, is connected to their family so much. And then you can see all the recent donations. So if we go back to home, you know, you can scroll down and see events there, or you can just go straight to the events and see previous events as well. So that's a lovely little tribute. I'm going to share another tribute. So this is James Brockenshires. Now, coincidentally, I was going to share this one with you, but he has been on the news today. He was on Good Morning Britain, I think, this morning, Good Morning Breakfast. So James sadly passed away last year, but we can see that there's previous events. So if we click here, they'll still display, again, the lovely cover image. But why I wanted to really share this tribute with you is that, as Sally mentioned earlier, family and friends, it doesn't just have to be the tribute guardian setting up these events. You know, so here was James' friend, here was the local theatre school they used to support. They did a Christmas fundraiser as well in memory of James. So you can see them all listed, but this is mainly about that all-encompassing, reaching out to people connected to the person who's passed away, and which I know in events, that's something that you really, really like to do. So if we just go...
It's great to see as well that they're set up by, the events are set up by different people, so that it kind of helps to extend that reach.
Definitely. So if we just go into a partner area, so I just want to highlight this before I start the demo. So now you'll see events has got its own little tab bar. Hooray. So, you know, it's all separated out and it's got its own thing. And you've got your events and tribute events. Now, your events will be the pre-loaded events that is going to be available for Optimum partners. And Sally will talk that as part of her demo. I'm going to do the supporter journey. Tribute events will be what the Advantage partners will see in the drop-down menu. Optimum will see both. And just while we're on the subject of in this partner area, there's a lot to take in with this functionality. So within the Manage tab, you have access to the charity support site, and we've already loaded all about events, little bite-sized information. But I just want you to sit back and relax, knowing that you haven't got to take it all in and write loads of notes, because you will get the webinar link and it's all on the charity support site for you as well. So just going back to the partner area, I'm going to demonstrate now to you as a supporter adding a event onto their tribute. Just to highlight as well, this isn't a registration method. We can, our events functionality is purely for adding the event to a tribute fund. So don't think of it as a registration, because it's not. And we've tried to be really clear on how we, you know, communicate that. However, your events people will be able to receive alerts, so that if any tribute adds an event, or if you're an Optimum partner, they add an event that you've preloaded, they will get an alert to say there's an event, and then they can also add an alert to know that that tribute's receiving donations. But we'll show you that at the end, but just to put your mind at rest that you can keep on top of all the events that are coming through onto your tributes. So if we go through to a fund, which I created earlier, my little Blue Peter bit. So this is, I'm now a supporter and I'm supporting this charity, which is completely made up. It's just for the purposes of our demo. So I set this tribute up in memory of my mum, and you can see the events listed here. But if we also go to the events tab here, you'll see the full list of everything that I've added to the tribute. So the first thing I want to just run through is, as Sally mentioned, although Much Loved is a fundraising platform primarily, we do also have that compassionate caring that we want to have bereaved people to have, support them through their journey of bereavement. So it's not always about an ask, and you've probably got loads of supporters in your own charities where they do lots of fundraising, but sometimes they don't want to ask people for more money. So now you've got the flexibility to be able to do that as well. So this is a little visual event. You can see there's no donate button on the event. A little story here, an image, and add an update. So if we just click add an update, so memorial garden, how's your event going? Remember to wear garden clothes. I'm sure your supporters are much more inventive than me. So add your update, and straight away you can see that it's in real time, all the messaging there. So all family and friends who've got the link to this event will see that as well. Editing an event. So remember, everything is very logical on the Much Loved platform. There's always going to be a little button telling you what to do somewhere. Trust me on this one. So edit your event. So, you know, you might want to say here, afternoon tea, or maybe a glass of Prosecco, you know, so, you know, we can add little bits here. So you just add those in. So it's very logical. Save changes. And then in the media little tab, you can see here I've got the opportunity to change that image. So if I've got a picture of the garden, you might want to put the real garden there. So it's very easy, remove, upload, live stream. So I don't know, maybe family members can't make the garden party, but there's a point where you want to do a toast, you can live stream everything in. You can add your own profile picture as well. So lots of functionality for your supporters to really personalize and get to personalize their event and make it really interesting. The More tab, we've got this QR code. I don't know, so say this garden party was a fundraiser, you might have some leaflets and you could add the QR code to that. So get your creative thinking hats on. There's lots of ways you can incorporate this and get that event really out to as many supporters as possible. And this is also where you would close an event and remove an event. So nice and logical, every step of the way it tells you what you can do. So as a supporter coming onto the site, I think, oh yeah, I'll do that, I'll add that, my event's closed, finish it. So if we just go back to events, I just want to show you this one. So this is what an Optimum partner would have done. So I'm a supporter, I've gone to my mum's tribute, added my vigil, and then I've seen that the charity actually are doing their annual memorial walk. Yeah, that'll be great. Let's add that in for the family to take part. So just click on it and it'll upload. Sally will show you how to do this later. And then the rest is the edit buttons, a little story, uploading a picture and carrying on. And now you can see this is a fundraiser. So the donate button's there, target, which the supporter will set. So that's really important as well, because if they have got lots of events, every little event will be with the income that event's raised, so that when you're allocating against different events, it's very clear for you. So if we go back to events, I'm now just going to add an event. So just to show how quick and easy it is. So the nice add your event button. So now you can see you've got some options. I'll come back to the other options, but let's do add a new event. So here you can see you've got some other options here. Now these are the preloaded events that my charity have added for supporters to select. So if you're an Advantage partner, you won't see these preloaded events. It will just be add my own event. So click through. Let's think. Big cake. I've had no breakfast today. Eat cake. When am I doing it? What are you doing at this event? So if we click on, you've got a whole drop down menu there, sorry if I did that bit quick, of all different things, and you'll see why that's important in a minute. Let's do it for tomorrow. Yes, we're always fundraisers at heart. Continue. Yes, I do. Let's just do £100. So just to let you know, these totalizers, we are updating them. They are going to be more totalizers. They're going to be, you know, looking a bit different. So watch that space. That will change. Continue. Just takes a couple of seconds to add, and there you can see my events there. So this picture's been populated automatically, so you've got the nice visual, but obviously now as a supporter, if I think, oh, I don't want macaroons, I want a big fat cake, then I'd go and add my own cake. Add the story, add any updates, just like I showed you earlier. So if we go back into events, you can see now it displays in the lines there. So if we go back to add event, I just want to show you this one as well. You can link to an existing fundraising page, so your Facebook pages and whatever, but I know lots of you are familiar with Just Giving. So if we just click link to a Just Giving page. So I know my friend has set up a Just Giving page to help me support my eating as much cake as possible. So we will just add the link in here. search, continue. And there we go. So it's now been added to the events, so that's supporting the tribute. So if I go back to the events log, this is actually shown in previous page because it's an old link, but it would actually show wherever in that pecking order that event was taking place. So you can see as a supporter, that was really easy, quick and easy, in fact, and it was very logical. So I hope that gives you a little bit of an overview of how a supporter's journey would be. So don't worry about it, taking it all in too much. We've got lots of help for after this webinar to refresh your memories. So I think I'm going to stop sharing so Sally can take back over now to show how to preload an event.
Excellent, thank you, Jackie. There were a couple of questions, so I'm just going to look at those before I move on. So Zoe has asked how others set up an event on a tribute page. So yes, they'd need to know the URL address of the tribute page, and then, or as I've got the one that Jackie set up open. So you would just, as a visitor to the tribute, we just go to events and then click on add your event. So anyone can set up an event. They don't have to be a fund holder. They could just be a friend or a family member. The person who owns the event of the tribute would get a notification that that event had been set up, and they'd still have control over it. So if they didn't want it to display on their tribute page, they could close it or remove it. Are all the events set up on the Much Loved platform? So the events functionality is available on every single tribute. So whether that's being created via Much Loved, via one of our funeral director partners, or via your own service, or via yourselves through your partner area, which leads me on nicely to Andre's question. So the preloaded events will only show on tribute pages that are created via your service. So either the link on your website, your landing page, or if you set them up on behalf of a fund holder through your own partner area. Is it a particular platform for live streaming? I think you can link to YouTube, and then there's another platform that you can link to. I can't remember off the top of my head. Maybe Jason, who's in the audience, might remember. I think it's Twitch, actually, something like that. So yeah, so YouTube or Twitch. Ask your kids, he said. They're not here, they're at school and university, but I think it's Twitch and yeah, and YouTube that you can use for live streaming purposes. So I'm just going to pop the chat down and concentrate on what I was going to show you next. So I was going to talk you through how to preload an event. So just to reiterate, this is available to our Optimum partners. So if you click on the events tab, you'll see here that you've got your tributes and tribute events. So if we click on your tributes, this is the area that you would go to preload your event. And from here, you can see that each event that's set up has got a unique ID. You've got the event title, the date of the event, the visibility, so whether it's live and displaying on your tribute pages, and how many tribute events have been selected. So how many individuals have got that listed on their tribute page. And then you've also got the opportunity to edit the details of that event. So, but we're going to add in a new event. So I'm just going to click on add an event, and then we'll add in a title. And as there is a bit of a theme going on this morning, I'm going to keep it on the cake sale. So right, so we'll give the event a category. And Jackie has talked through some of these already. So you can see there's lots of different ones, but the main reason for selecting a category is just to get that main image. But obviously, as it's a bespoke event, you probably want to change that. We'll give it a date. So we'll let's choose a Friday in March. And now you've got the option to display whether to show the date of this event. So maybe if you're creating an event that is a cake sale and actually you're letting people do it whenever they want to, you might actually want to hide the event date so that they can select their own date for the event. I'm going to keep my selected date for this purposes of this demonstration. So we're going to click continue. And then we're going to get a synopsis of the information. So we can see all the sort of basic event details. And if you want to change them, you can do. At the moment, this event is currently hidden. So to make it visible, we need to put some dates in. So we'll put in a start date from today, so people can start to access that event as soon as they want to. And we'll keep it visible until the day after the actual event. And then we'll click Save Changes. Now we've got the option to upload a cover image. So I have got an image, whether it will load or not, let's hope so. So I'm just going to select that and hopefully it will load up. You have to make sure that it's actually quite a decent sized image. So if you, like me, and you're nicking one from the internet, they don't always load. Oh, this one did. So there you go. So now I've got my own default cover image for this event, and that will override the sort of preloaded image from the category. And then underneath that, you've got the opportunity to put a reference against this event. So that means that you'll be able to record donations that are coming in specifically against this event or these events. And so you can download your donor detail report, and those references will be tagged against each individual donation that's been made against that event. So really useful for you to be able to keep an eye on exactly how much income has been raised against a particular event. If you need to help you a little bit with soft crediting, that kind of thing. I mean, maybe the soft crediting is in your team and this income goes directly to the events team, but the customized references will help you to sort of decide where that's going to go. So that is it. So now that event should display on the tribute. So if I go back to Jackie's test tribute and click add your event, and then click add a new event again, now our cake sale is now visible here, and we could select to add this onto our tribute page if we wanted to. So hopefully that is all nice and straightforward. Shall we have a quick look at, are there any questions on that before I move on, Jackie? Shall we have a look?
It was just about would be notified. I was just busy typing, but I might as well speak now. So will tribute owners be notified when the charity adds an event? They won't be by much love, but actually from a charity point of view, that would be a great communication that you could let your tribute guardians know that you've got this new event that you've added. And if they want to join in, just select it and add it to their tribute. So it's another way of you keeping connected to your tribute guardians.
So Helen's put lots of our bespoke events a month long rather than one specific date. So you could just not put a date in, Helen, and you could just make it visible for that particular month. So that would be the way around that. I was right, it's YouTube and Twitch for live streaming.
If you want to set up an event.
So Emma's put, if you want to set up an event, but people need to visit your website to officially sign up, what would we suggest that they did? Well, that is a really good question, Emma. So you will receive a notification. You can set yourself up to receive a notification if someone selects selects one of your events in the preloaded events in your tribute pages. So you could then get in touch with them and send them an email to say, please officially register for this. I appreciate that it's a little bit, it's not necessarily the sort of perfect scenario, but we're not a registration facility. yeah, so we can't add that in. But I mean, Lynn said, can we add in a registration or web link somewhere? Yes, you probably could actually. You possibly could add it in the description. I'll come back to you about that, but I'll confirm that actually. What other questions are there? Is it mandatory to add an end date in order to display the event? No, you can just add a start date. You don't have to add in a visible until date. So Emma has asked, will the donations raised via an event be coded differently to the main tribute? Yes, because you've got 8 bespoke references that will sit against a tribute, and then you've got 4 reference fields that sit just directly against events, so they can be coded differently. Okay, right, so I'll come back to the other questions, and let's have a look at the next stage. So now I just wanted to show you how to create an event on behalf of a fund holder or friend or a family member. Now, I don't envisage you doing lots of this, but it's good to understand how to do it in case the opportunity arises and you just want to offer sort of that additional sort of stewardship support. So you go to tributes and your tributes, and this will take you to the page that your partner area always opens up on if you're an Optimum partner. If you click on the settings button, and then if you scroll down to manage events, and then here you can see all the events that have been set up to be supported for that particular tribute. So you can see Jackie and I have been practicing like crazy, so adding events on and removing them, so you can see exactly what we've been up to this morning. But if you want to add in a new event, then just click add a new event, and then you'll see this looks very familiar. So it's exactly the same experience that your fund holders will get if they're, and their friends and family, if they're setting up the page directly through the tribute. So you can either link to an existing fundraising page, or you can link to a Just Giving page. So if we click on add a new event, then you can see here all the preloaded events available. So we can either set that up and link to it, or we can add your own event. And I'm not going to fill in this form, but you can see all the details. They're very similar. So you put in a title, a short description, you can select the category of the event, which will create the imagery to go alongside it. You can give it a date and whether you're fundraising or not, and then the next page will allow you to add in a target. Now, once you've set up the page, you'll be automatically taken to what we call the details page. So it will look a little bit like this, and you'll see that your name or your login will appear, and you will appear as the event owner. So you'll then be able to change that owner and make it the supporters details. You just pop in their email address. They'll then get a sort of standard email from support at Much Loved, telling them about the event page, and they'll be able to take full access from it there as well. And if it's not one of your bespoke preloaded events, you'll be able to still use these event references to code up. So if, I mean, maybe they're doing their own sort of DIY event or community event, you may still want to code those events separately. So just a little bit on customized references, because we've talked about them quite a lot. So you've seen how to add in the coding for a preloaded event, but we haven't touched on how to change the field names. Now, I know I've talked about this before in other videos, and if people are interested, we can set up a separate quick meeting or webinar to talk this through independently, although there are details about this on the support site as well. But just go to customize references, and then you'll see here that there are 4 fields that say tribute reference 1 to 4 and 4 fields that say fundraising reference 1 to 4. Now, if you want to edit the field names, then just click on the edit button and then type in what you want to replace it with. So you've got 8 fields essentially against the tribute page. You've got 4 user reference fields, and then you've got the event fields there. So you'll be able to distinguish between income that's come through a particular event and also income that's come through just sort of general donations through an event, a tribute page. So finally, the thing that might also help you in order to sort of trigger you to add in the right customized references are alerts. And these are available to all of our partners, whether you're Optimum or Advantage. And you can set those up by going to Manage and then Alert Preferences. And if we click on Add a new email address, you'll see here, you can just pop in the email address there and then just deselect the alerts that you don't want to receive because they're automatically pre-populated. But you can see there's 4 different alerts that are specific to events. So you've got receive an email when a new fundraising event is created for your organisation, when an event reaches its fundraising target, when a new blog post is added, or when it's closed or removed. So now you can set those up for yourselves as maybe the kind of holder of the keys of the tribute fund scheme, but actually you can set these up for your events colleagues as well if you want to. So they don't have to find out about any of the other information, but you might want them to be notified when a new fundraising event is added. So you can set the alerts up. If they need access to the partner area, then let your account manager know or get in touch with support at Much Loved and we'll set them up with a login so they can actually click through from the email that they receive to access the particular area. So that kind of ties it all up nicely. And obviously then they'll get notified and then the customized references can be added in so that data can be all recorded really nicely. So there's a couple of questions come in. Have you had a chance to have a look at them, Jackie?
There was one about linked to Enthuse. So we are talking to Enthuse. I don't know how far we've progressed, but I know our developer is definitely trying to get it so we can do that as well. So just watch this space, and as soon as we can do that, we'll be communicating and letting you know. Yeah,
we have spoken to Enthuse, and then the line went a little bit quiet. I mean, maybe that's because they were getting ready to be official partners for the London Marathon. So we're going to get in touch with them again and see if we can encourage that use, because I think going forwards it will be, really useful for all of you if that happens, because clearly it's going to become quite a big platform. So it's on my list to touch base with them again and see if we can encourage them to kind of work with us. But any comments that you want to make to them, if you're one of their sort of key charity that use their product, then if you put in a mention that you'd like, it would be useful to have the integration, then please do, because that's all helpful for us. There's one question about your own events can only be added if you're an Optimum partner. Yes, that is correct. So Zoe's asked, can a supporter choose different charities to support within events they set up? So they can if their tribute page is supporting more than one event. But if their tribute is only supporting one cause, then that's all the events will be set up to support that particular charity.
There's a question in the Q&A box. Let's have a look. Caroline Young, is there a way to message all tribute fund page owners from Much Loved? So I'm guessing that you want to communicate to your tribute fund holders, and you can do that via your tribute report. You can get all the details from them and do your communication. Is that what you mean?
Guessing that the best way, we don't really communicate with fund holders because obviously we work with lots of different charities, so we would encourage you to email your fund holders because obviously that's an opportunity for you to build up a relationship with them and start to sort of steward them. So you might want to get in touch. If you preload a new event, then you might want to get in touch with them to let them know that event is now available and displaying on their tribute page should they wish to take part in it. We're not going to create a how to add an event video that you can send to supporters. I think it's really straightforward. You know, if you wanted to set something up yourself, obviously you could do. There's lots of new bits of functionality, Canva, or maybe a little Loom video, which you may or not have received one of those from Jason at some point. But that's quite useful for sort of an informal little video as well. Right.
We've got another question from Andre at Samaritans. Can event income be restricted? So this will be for the charities that have branch ones. So I'm guessing they can still restrict if they add in any special restrictions, any instructions.
I guess you could restrict the income by putting a reference on that particular event. So then you'd be able to pull off a report from the data, the donor report, and then you'd know where that income was going to go. Zoe has asked, can a tribute be amended after initial setup support 2 charities rather than 1? Yes, the fund holder can do that, or actually you can do it by your partner area as well if you want to, if you're an optimum partner. So we haven't got a link to Strava, Hannah. That is possible for the future, absolutely. Let's see how it kind of goes with this functionality first, but yeah, not everything is a possibility in the future.
And with Joanna, obviously we can link to Just Giving, but everything else would need to be manual added as an offline donation. Yeah, the Just Giving pages, they sync every couple of hours, so the donations will automatically be listed because we've got a proper integration with Just Giving. So that's the kind of thing that we'd be looking to do with Enthuse. The Facebook income won't show on a tribute. It will just direct the supporter to the Facebook page for them to be able to make their donation to. But any donations collected on that Facebook page would just have to be added as an offline donation. Amy's asked, is it going to confuse things if the supporter can either select to do our event on Just Giving and then link to that Just Giving, or they could link straight to our event on Much Loved? Yeah, it's up to you really. I guess this is all a little bit of kind of trial and error, so maybe test a few events. I mean, the thing is, obviously we've sort of developed this really with in mind of a specific in memorial event. So actually, if you've got quite a big tribute fund scheme, you might want to set up a specific mass participation event that is just available to your tribute fund holders. I mean, overall, I would have thought that you know, the more places that you can promote events are better. I think as well, if they've set up a tribute and they're connected to your charity as well, this is they might just automatically put the event on the tribute, but you're giving them the options. If family and friends have set up a Just Giving page, you can just link it straight back to the tribute page, if that makes sense.
Yes, that's true, Amy. Excellent. So finally, getting all excited about all the questions. So the last couple of things I wanted to mention, as I mentioned at the very beginning of the session, that there is extra support for you. So if you go to your Manage tab in your partner area and click on Training and Support, you will be able to access, and again, we'll email you the direct link to this. You'll be able to access a load of videos which just sort of reiterate what Jackie and I have talked you through this morning. So that's under new user training, which is the first box that you come to. And then right at the bottom, you've got events. And then you've got a selection of videos, which, like I say, just kind of go through in detail the bits and pieces that Jackie and I have talked through this morning. And then at the beginning of next week, we will have an e-learning course available. Now, we'll make sure that gets emailed to you so you can register and take part in that course. It will only be a sort of 10-15 minute course, so a selection of videos for you to watch. And if you want to share that with your colleagues in other fundraising departments, if you think it's appropriate, then please do. It's specifically on the event functionality. So we're very much at the beginning of our e-learning journey. And so we've just created a course for the event functionality within the tributes at the moment, but we'll be developing that to other areas of the service as well, because obviously it's quite there's quite a lot to it. But at the moment, just the events functionality on e-learning course will be available. So we'll make sure that you get that. So I think that's all. I'll just look at the last couple of questions. Oh, nice bit of feedback from Zoe. So thank you very much. Yeah, and that's the idea, isn't it? It's to create a nice central place to be able to gather all the fundraising and memory all in one place, because people who are doing things in memory like to tend to do it the way they want to do it. So that's why we wanted to create a function, a system that provided that flexibility. So if people do want to do their fundraising in different ways, they can still link to it from their much loved tribute, so they can see the full picture, even though different things are going on in different ways. So all that's left for me to say is thank you very much for joining us this morning. Have a fabulous afternoon, and I will be in touch with a recording should anyone want to share that with their colleagues, and also a link to the events extra videos, and also to the e-learning course, but you'll get that next week. Excellent. So thank you very much, everybody. I'm just going to